Howdy, listeners. Today we are kicking off a new series for the month of July called The Tutelage of Treehouse. The team at Treehouse is on a mission to diversify the tech industry through accessible education, unlocking opportunity, and empowering people to achieve. In our series, we'll be talking to leaders and students in the program to learn about how Treehouse has impacted their lives, businesses, and careers. Well, today I have Jason Gilmore on the show on Code Story. He is the CEO of Treehouse. He's a principal at Xenon and a startup advisor. He spent many years as an engineer, a consultant, and a conference leader, as well as contributed content to prominent tech sites. Jason, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you, Noah. I'm excited to be here.
Before we get into Treehouse and how you came about getting involved with Treehouse, tell me and my audience a little bit more about you.
Sure. Again, my name's Jason Gilmore. As you mentioned, Noah, I guess an engineer at heart. I've spent the vast majority of my career, over 20 years, working in software, also working on the tech education side of things. So on the software side, I spent many years as a consultant and contractor, working with companies in the publishing industry, architectural and design, environmental industry, and so forth. Also, have always had an interest in education, helping fellow programmers understand programming languages and databases and so forth. Because of that, I took an interest in writing and just started putting my writing out there, little PHP and MySQL tutorials. That turned into an opportunity to write a book for A-Press. That kind of became a passion of mine, book writing, and I've wound up writing 9 books in the 20 years since. Started a conference, again, related to that interest in education. It's called Code Mash. I co-founded it with two friends back in 2006, I think. So it's been around for 13 or 14 years now. If I were to really summarize it succinctly, my career has really straddled 2 sides of the road. One side just pertains to building things, which is always fun. And then the other side pertains to helping others learn how to build things with software. So I guess that's me in a nutshell.
Very cool. Rewarding on both sides, the building and then the teaching others to build. Tell me how you came to this position with Treehouse. So you're CEO of Treehouse now. How did this all come about? How did you get connected? Tell me that story.
Back in, February of 2018, I was working as a consultant and contractor, and the founder of Xenon Partners contacted me over email and asked if I had any interest in helping out with due diligence on a potential acquisition of a company named Dream Factory. You know, at the time as a contractor, for me, this was just another potential opportunity to work on a cool project. I took a look at the technology, was frankly blown away by it. Dream Factory is an API generation tool, so you can point the database at Dream Factory, and Dream Factory will generate an API automatically. And I was just coming off of a lengthy and very involved API project involving a popular mobile app in the App Store. And I looked at this technology and I thought, where has this been all of my life, right? Like this is great. This is really cool. That due diligence project wound up turning into over 3-year stint at Xenon. I wound up becoming the CTO of Dream Factory. Xenon grew and had the opportunity to acquire Treehouse in late 2021. Going back to my background on the educational side, this was very much a natural transition for me to move into this role as CEO of Treehouse. And to be perfectly frank, it's a dream come true. I pinch myself every day walking into the office, having the opportunity to be on a team that is responsible for having educated over 1.2 million students since the company's inception about 10 years ago. I'm very glad to have the opportunity to work on this team.
So Xenon, acquired Treehouse. What is the future plan for Treehouse then? What's the strategy, and how are you going to go about continuing to make it grow?
I think I can best answer this question by offering maybe a personal anecdote. So when I transitioned over to the Treehouse team in December of 2021, at the time I was looking at this opportunity from the perspective of pure numbers, right? So there are thousands and thousands of students using Treehouse at any point in time. There are well-known organizations, governmental entities, companies, you name it, using the platform for continuing education. Coming from the book writing world, my own video making world, I thought, wow, this is like the chance to be part of a company that is doing what I've loved doing for 20 plus years, but at scale, right? Now it's not just me writing a book on my laptop. Now it's a large and ambitious educational operation. It was about 3 weeks into this position where I came across a tweet. So Treehouse has a rather large social media presence. And I came across this tweet that said, effectively, 1 year ago, I was making, I think it was $9 an hour working on a construction site. And today, thanks in part to Treehouse, I'm making over 6 digits as a software engineer. That was the first of many epiphanies that I've had over the last 6 months regarding the impact a company like Treehouse can have on people seeking this transition into the tech industry. I was just frankly blown away by it. And for the first time, I thought, wow, there are human beings behind this large number. That has really reframed my thinking, really from that point onwards, in the sense that my teammates are every day working to reinforce and frankly expand upon what Treehouse has done so well over the past 10 years. And that is to provide practical, applicable education regarding software, databases, UX, product management, project management, and so forth. Like if you want to learn how to run an Excel spreadsheet, there are plenty of sites to do that. We to be clear, we offer courses on Excel as well. But more importantly, if you are seeking to become proficient in something like Python or JavaScript or SQL, or again, UX is very popular, and do so in such a way that you can be prepared to then go seek out a job in the tech industry, then Treehouse is the place where you want to be. Not only because of the curriculum, which is great, it's won many awards, it's really well done, but also because of the support, right? Treehouse is a big company and we have thousands of customers, but we're not so big that we've lost sight of the ability to interact with many of our students on a one-on-one basis. When it comes to what our plans are this quarter, beyond into 2023, we absolutely want to continue being the destination for people around the world who are seeking to transition into a career in tech and have access to, frankly, what is often a great career. Right? I love the tech industry for many, many reasons and would love to see as many people who want to do so follow in my footsteps and do exactly the same thing that has given me and my family a great life. It isn't just about an individual such as you or I coming and signing up to Treehouse. Plenty of people do that. That's great. But we recognize that not everyone has the wherewithal economically to sign up for Treehouse, even though the subscriptions are relatively low cost. In order to ensure that as many people as possible have access to Treehouse, we partner with libraries. They fund Treehouse access on behalf of their patrons who can then sign up. We work with nonprofits around the country like AnitaB.org or Operation Code, which is a great organization that helps veterans seeking to transition into the tech industry. We work with schools around the United States who incorporate Treehouse curriculum into the classroom. In fact, I just spent a day down at a school in Florida who has incorporated Treehouse curriculum into grades 6 through 12. And it was just fascinating to see all of these students logged into Treehouse. They were using what are called Treehouse workspaces, which are virtual coding environments. And they were building really cool personal websites talking about their favorite sports team and favorite band and so on and so forth. Somebody had built a website dedicated to their favorite skateboarder, right? So it's great seeing these individuals use Treehouse in a way that is fun and entertaining. And we hope to continue doing that in order to ensure that, again, as many people as possible have the opportunity to learn more about what tech's all about.
So as we're talking, Jason, something occurs to me, and I want to ask you about it. With your program, Treehouse is educating people in the tech industry on how to get into the tech industry, different languages, different approaches, tools, things like that. How many people have you brought into your own organization who have learned through your platform?
Like any SaaS, software as a service business out there, we have teammates who serve a variety of roles. One would be a tech evangelist, for example. Another would be student success, so individuals who help our students. People might find it surprising that a fair number of our staff are actually Treehouse graduates. So I mentioned the tech degrees, which are effectively online boot camps. Every once in a while, we will come across an individual not only maybe excels at a particular tech degree. We grade these in several ways. One is like effectively meets expectations for a project that's submitted. Another is exceeds expectations. Well, every once in a while, you'll come across somebody who's like exceeding expectations every time with every project. Or you'll come across somebody who graduates from multiple tech degrees, which these are involved. I mean, they're several months of work. I mean, they're quite involved. So to see somebody who's gone through 2 or maybe 3 is pretty impressive. They catch our attention, let's put it that way. In fact, we have several such individuals on the team working in student success. So Brian Jensen, Rachel Johnson, Chris Adams are all tech degree graduates. We also recently hired Dustin Usay, who is our technical evangelist. Dustin is also a graduate of a tech degree and is just doing a fantastic job in his new role here at Treehouse.
So why would someone choose Treehouse over other providers? Right? There's a lot of providers out there, and I have my own personal experiences with many of them, including Treehouse. But for you, what would you say to someone looking at all these providers and saying Treehouse is where you need to go?
Great question, especially these days where video recording technology has gotten to the point where anyone and everyone can set up a camera or use the camera attached to their laptop, record something, upload it to YouTube, and have it available to the world effectively immediately, right? So this is very much an environment where anyone who has the knowledge and the experience can share what they learn with others. You can also use marketplaces to do that, right? You can partner, if you will, with other sites to make your videos available to a wider audience. So ultimately, you're asking, Jason, what's different? Most people might ask the question, why are your videos better, right? I think there are really 3 reasons. First, Treehouse is best known for its video-based content, right? I mean, that's really what gets the lion's share of the attention. However, the videos are only part of the student's journey throughout the Treehouse learning process. We employ a strategy of learning through video and then learning reinforcement. And the learning reinforcement happens through interactive quizzes, through code challenges where you'll be asked to complete a particular task. Maybe it's update some HTML or JavaScript or Python or what have you. And then our automated grader will grade the code that you've written. Also, we provide workspaces, which are virtual coding environments. All of this is web-based, meaning if you're using a library laptop or a school laptop, you can use Treehouse because you don't have to install anything, right? Obviously, these computers typically have, they're locked down for security reasons. And again, it's learn and reinforce. Many sites do a great job with their videos, and you can learn from the videos. Treehouse takes that process much, much further. You're going to exit a course not just feeling like, yeah, I think I understood what that instructor said. You're going to know that you understand it because you've been hands-on throughout that course. 2, we really focus on depth of topic. If you head on over to teamtreehouse.com, you click on content library and you search, or click on maybe tracks, you will see right up at the top a front-end web development track. And basically a track is a curriculum, right? Just kind of like a high school or a college course, a syllabus. Well, that track is 56 hours. 56 hours of instruction regarding how to become a front-end web developer. There's a 14-hour Python track, right? And you can start by knowing nothing about Python and walk out of the other end of that 14-hour track feeling still a beginner. But now you're a little bit dangerous, right? Now you're ready to write some code after that 14-hour track. So we really focus on depth of instruction and we focus on practicality of instruction. You're just not going to find silly, contrived examples that don't really apply to the real world in our content. 3, if a student leaves before they have accomplished what they've set out to do, I take it personally. Like it bothers me. And our team takes it personally because that person has come to Treehouse with an end goal in mind. And if they leave before they've accomplished that goal, I feel like our team has let them down. Obviously, like any company, we have reports regarding signups and cancellations and so forth. I can't tell you the number of times that I personally have reached out to individuals and asked, where did we go wrong? Did you complete what you set out to do? Naturally, in an effort to prevent that from happening, we place a great deal of emphasis on student success. If you're taking a tech degree, we have Slack workspaces for you, and students interact with our student success team all the time, our instructors as well. If you're still struggling after a Slack conversation, we'll jump on a Zoom call. Good luck doing that on YouTube. We will go that extra mile in order to ensure that our students are feeling motivated and successful and happy using the product.
All 3 of those reasons are fantastic. It's more of a personal touch in the training, obviously with the, taking it personally when they don't make it or when they don't finish. And then also the integrated tools. There's no, having to set up your machine in a certain way to learn something. You're already in the experience. There's not a context switch there, which I think is really valuable for people that are wanting to dive in and get involved quickly.
I completely agree. These days, setting up that initial development environment, particularly maybe when you're wanting to learn more about JavaScript, for example, things have gotten complicated. I know from interacting with many readers of my books over the years, I know that process can be very scary. Which text editor do you choose? Which code editor, right? Is it Sublime? Is it Visual Studio Code? Is it Vim? Is it Nano? How do I install all of this in the first place on my machine? How do I bring MySQL up? How do I log into that database? You will eventually need to know that, of course. But let's not put the cart before the horse here. Like, let's ease into the technology itself. Maybe first and foremost, so you can determine whether you even like doing this in the first place, right? Let's not get bogged down in all of these details. Let's start building things.
Well, I'm excited to see the continued success of Treehouse under your leadership, and certainly appreciate you being on the show, sharing the strategy, sharing what the future looks like for Treehouse. So, Jason, thank you again.
Great. Really appreciate it, Noah.
What an amazing convo to kick off this series with Jason Gilmore, CEO of Treehouse. And I'm excited about the strategy moving forward, which is to carry on the great teaching and hands-on training Treehouse is known for. That wraps up this episode of our latest series, sponsored by our good friends at Treehouse. Check out their educational products and opportunities by visiting teamtreehouse.com.
Now Taxes is 100% free when you file in the TurboTax app if you didn't file with us last year.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just do your own taxes in the app by 2/18.
What if I have lots of forms?
All good, all 100% free.
What if I had 3 jobs?
Still 100% free.
What if I once saw Bigfoot?
That has nothing to do with taxes, so still 100% free.
Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now this is taxes. See if you qualify in the TurboTax app. Excludes TurboTax Live, must start and file in app by 2/18.